Where is India on the pandemic curve? This is the perplexing question, confusing both the common man and the experts alike. When will India reach its peak in number of daily new cases? When will India reach its herd immunity? Well, these questions have to be looked at very closely. If we look at the statistics, we get a different kind of picture. For example, India has a total 56,000 deaths so far due to corona. Well, forget about the underreporting or underestimating of the deaths. I'm telling you the officially recorded corona deaths account for 56,000 in India. If you look at the absolute figure of 56,000, it's quite shocking. But if you make a comparison, then it doesn't look to be very so serious problem. For example, the total number of deaths in India is around 1.86% of the total number of cases. So it is called the death rate. So the death rate in India is just 1.86%, where it is substantially higher in other countries. When compared to the other two countries where there are more number of infections compared to India, as I told you many times, India has the third largest number of cases next to United States and Brazil. But if you compare the total number of deaths in India are of the deaths in Brazil, and the total number of deaths in India is of the deaths in United States. So therefore, the statistics give a contradictory picture. If you look at the statistics from one angle, you will get one narrative, and if you look at it from a different angle, you will get a different narrative. So this is precisely the reason why the governments are cherry picking statistics to put forth a narrative that is politically more palatable to them. So, but unfortunately, that's not the way to look at the problem. So, we have to look at the problem from a holistic point of view. India still is the is the country with third largest number of cases after the United States and Brazil, and is the fourth largest in terms of the number of deaths. Even today, India is reporting around 70,000 cases per day, which is substantially higher. In the last 3 days, India has reported on an average 69,000 and above cases. And last 24 hours, India reported 69,229 cases, which is substantially higher. And this kind of a figure will contribute in the total number of cases rising. Well, one of the reasons for this is the increased testing also. In the last 5 day average, in the last 5 days, the daily average test stood at 8,90,000. In the last 24 hours, India has conducted 1 million tests. We have just crossed the 1 million test milestone. So obviously, when the more and more tests are done, and that's the right kind of strategy also, obviously the total number of cases continue to rise. So there are 3 million cases in India. But again, if you really break the statistics, out of this 3 million, 1 million cases are in just 3 states, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. And out of these 3 million cases, only 7 lakh cases, out of the 30 lakh cases, 7 lakh cases are active cases, which means that still infection is there. So in the remaining cases, there is a recovery. The recovery rate is as high as 75%, and the death rate is below 2%, which means the active number of cases are only 23% of the total cases. So therefore, the problem is serious, but it is still, there are positive signs in it. The positivity rate means how many will be the positive cases among the total number of tests. So that's called the positivity rate. Positivity rate has declined to below 8%. In fact, the weekly average positivity rate and the monthly average positivity rate is declining. In fact, that's an argument by some epidemiologists that India has already flattened the curve. But notwithstanding the debate whether it has flattened or not, the fact remains that India is still reporting 70,000 cases. And the experience of the United States and South Korea revealed that there is also a possibility of second wave of infections still attacking our country. So therefore, we have to understand the problem in its totality. So if you look at as of now, well, there is another argument. The State Bank of India research revealed that if a country reaches 75% recovery rate, then that is the time where the nation will reach the peak in its daily new cases. So this is the prediction for the SBI for India. So India has already reached 75% recovery rate. But does it mean we have reached the peak in daily new cases? Nobody knows, because the world experience doesn't give any conclusive evidence to link the recovery rate to the peak, reaching the peak. For example, the Brazil reached the peak when the total number of cases were 70%, when the recovery rate was 70%. China reached the peak when the recovery rate was 71.5%. And Malaysia reached the peak when the recovery rate was 79.5%. So it is extremely difficult to make a statistical correlation between the recovery rate and the reaching of the peak. The fact remains that India will continue to have the new cases coming till September and October as per the National Task Force on Healthcare experts also. So India is yet to come out of the pandemic, but definitely it's not the time to be so worried. We should be concerned, but there's no room for complacency. So that is the real picture of India as far as the pandemic is concerned. One of the significant challenges, the pandemic is expanding into the rural areas. According to the SBI research, the total number of cases, 54% of the total cases are in the rural districts, indicating the expanding challenge of the pandemic. So we have to deal with the pandemic for some more time to come.